Hello class, welcome back to another great day in history class with Mr. Aiken. Today we're going to go over and continue our topic of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today we're going to talk about his legacy again and take a brief look at his new monument that just opened in January 2012. We're also going to talk about what kind of protest Dr. King stood for, and then we're going to go into and show you an example of something that would happen at one of Dr. King's protests. When you talk about legacy, Martin Luther King Jr. has a massive legacy, culminating in the memorial that opened up earlier this year in 2012. Martin Luther King Jr.'s memorial is escalated with many famous quotes that he said over the years, including this one, which he said during his march on that District of Columbia in 1968. Other famous quotes like these that you can read here: "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that," came during his 1963 speech, also at the District of Columbia. Here is other speeches, other famous quotes that Dr. King has left us with to let us believe that the fight that he was fighting for would eventually end. The Dr. King Memorial is not all of his legacies, as he has many legacies that he's left us with. We have a day after him where we celebrate. We also have many other legacies that he has left us. Here's another quote that Dr. King has left us about the Vietnam War. Dr. King did not only fight against war and the Vietnam War, he fought against segregation. That was his main fight. Dr. King now is enshrined in America's history in the monuments. He now is with America's greatest presidents across from Jefferson Memorial, which you can see in the distance, and right next to the Lincoln Memorial where he gave his speech. This is Dr. King's monument, which will always be with us forever in Washington, D.C. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When we think of him, we think of one of America's greatest speakers. Yes, he was definitely one of America's greatest speakers, but he was always speaking at a peaceful protest. Key words there: peaceful protest. These are non-violent protests. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stressed protesting in a non-violent way. He was very specific in this. Every one of his protests, he wanted to be non-violent and show no harm and have no violence present at these. Let's give a few examples of what Dr. King really wanted in his protests that were nonviolent. Some that he condoned were sit-ins. One of the most famous is the Greenville sit-in that happened in Greenville, North Carolina, where 4 North Carolina 18 students went to an all-white lunch counter and sat there until they were served. Even though they were heckled, they had milkshakes poured on them, many harmful things were done to them, but that's what he did. He wanted a peaceful protest. A sit-in is a great one. Another one is a peaceful march and picket protest where there's no harm being done to anyone, but they're just marching and picketing and singing great songs. Now, talking about some of these great songs, now we're going to watch a short clip and participate with singing in one of these great songs that Dr. Martin Luther King would have had sung at one of his protests. We can imagine ourselves walking on the mall on August 28, 1963, singing one of these songs, going to the reflecting pond and looking up at Dr. King at his memorial. Alright, now class, we're going to go into watching a brief segment of a video that was filmed at the National History Museum on peaceful protest and singing at peaceful protest. We're going to participate with the actor and sing back with him as he instructs you to do. So make sure you sing so you can get the full effect of feeling like you are at one of Dr. King's peaceful protests.
If you can't sing, can't carry a tune, hold a note, you can't sing. Then, what I want you to do is sing louder, all right? And it's real simple. All you have to do is repeat after me for the most part. So is everybody ready? Ready. All right, here we go. I'm going to see if you can guess what the name of the song is after we've gone through it. So here we go. Repeat after me. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. To freedom land. To freedom land. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Freedom land. To freedom land. I'm on my way. I'm on my Yes. To freedom land. Try this part together at the same time. I'm on my way, oh Lord, to freedom land. What's the name of the song? I'm on my way to freedom land. Yeah. Now we have to try it again. There's a bunch of people not following the rules. I can tell. I know who it is. They think, you know what folks do? This is what they do. They move their mouths and no sound is coming out. They think you can't tell. But I can tell, all right? So we're going to try it again, but this time if you don't sing, I'm going to come and embarrass you, all right? All right. So here we go. Repeat after me. I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
Sounds better already, doesn't it? To freedom land.
To freedom land.
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
To freedom land.
To freedom land.
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
To freedom land.
To freedom land.
Together. I'm on my way. Oh Lord, to freedom land. Let's try another one. If you don't go.
If you don't go.
Don't hinder me.
Don't hinder me.
If you don't go.
If you don't go.
Don't hinder me.
Don't hinder me.
If you don't go. Don't hinder me. I'm on